Hi, this is Carl with another SOP video for managed service providers. Today we're talking about naming conventions for your computers, well, for your clients' computers anyway. And I have one big rule, one recommendation, and then a bunch of little tiny recommendations. There are basically four kinds of names you have to come up with: domains, servers, workstations, which includes laptops, and then printers and any other device that might be on your network. I like themes for names. Themes are easy to remember. You can choose colors, you can choose flowers, whatever the client's into, names from Star Wars, that sort of thing. Just remember that the easiest thing probably is to use something like Workstation 1, Workstation 2, and that is a legitimate theme. Try to talk your clients into that. There are some limitations that are outside of your control. Even though we could use really long names for some machines, let's just not do that. So think about the limitations of the operating system, DNS, even NetBIOS. You want to really limit your machine names to about 15 characters. You should not use any special characters, and I don't recommend using a number as the first character in a machine name. So Workstation 1 is fine, but one workstation is not. So what's the big rule? Well, the big rule is do not name your machines after your users. So I don't want to see Bob's machine, or Carol's machine, or Ted's machine, or Alice's machine, because what happens when Bob gets a new machine, his old machine goes to Carol, and then Carol's machine is named Bob, or now you have to rename a machine, so you've got a secure ID that only the server sees, but now it's confused because it's associated with two LAN manager IDs, and so it just causes confusion. Unless you're going to format the hard drive or reinstall the operating system, do not rename a machine. That means once you give a machine a name, it needs to keep that name essentially forever. That's particularly true of workstations, but it's also true of servers. Don't reuse those machines with different names. You're just going to confuse Active Directory. It's also confusing because with users, they've got profiles that have a different name than the name of the user. So you can confuse it that way as well. If you rename users and you rename machines, you have no hope. A corollary to this is to not name the machine after its function, because if you take a machine from the sales department and you put it into a different department, it's now called Sales 01, and again, you don't want to have to rename that machine. The exception to that would be in a very large company where you only buy machines department by department, then by all means, Sales 01 makes more sense. My big preferred recommendation for machine names is that you include, for big machines like servers, the date that the machine was built. So if I see a machine that says SBS 2013, I'm going to know that that machine was built in 2013. It's not named after the small business server. I also like putting in the client's name, so if the client code is ABC, then you're going to put ABC 2015 as the machine name for the server. If you decide to do this on workstations, you can have WS 2015 01, 02, 03, and that way you know how many machines were built that year, and it's real easy to tell the client, you know, that machine's getting to be a little old now, based on the machine name. In terms of other guidelines, most of it just has to do with common sense. If you have a theme, you want to make sure that you have a theme that's got enough options for all of the future growth of the company. Otherwise, you're going to end up changing themes. Most men have exactly 8 colors, so you don't want to choose colors as a theme unless you've got a big palette in front of you and you know the names of all of those colors. Even if you go with something like the theme of a movie, make sure that the movie has enough characters for all the future growth of the company's users. No matter what you decide to put together as a standard operating procedure for your machine names, make sure you document it. You only have to write one paragraph and put it in the network documentation workbook, put it on the client's site, and that way when somebody comes to name a machine, one of the items on the new PC checklist is to pick out a machine name that is consistent with company policy. That's it for now. This is Carl wishing you all the best in your managed service business.